Welcome to this explainer. Okay, imagine a world that's rigidly divided by class, religion, and wealth. Now imagine a single place where all of those massive walls are just completely torn down over a shared meal. Pretty incredible, right? Today we're diving into the historical roots of universal, non-discriminatory community service. We're going to unpack a powerful concept that literally altered how communities took care of their most vulnerable members. And we'll see exactly how these revolutionary, ancient practices are still making waves in our world right now. Let's get right into it.
So, here is our roadmap for today. Number 1, the Sufi spiritual lodge. Number 2, the community kitchen concept. Number 3, service as true worship. And finally, number 4, the legacy of Langar. We're going to track this fascinating concept from one specific historical spot all the way to a modern legacy of compassion. Starting off with Section 1, the Sufi spiritual lodge. We're taking a trip back to the 13th century, to Ajodhan, which is modern-day Pakpattan in Pakistan. This was the home of the revered mystic Baba Farid and his spiritual lodge. Now, in a time of really intense social stratification, this spot basically became ground zero for a quiet but massive social revolution.
So that begs the question, what exactly was a Khanqah? You know, when we picture ancient religious sites, we usually imagine these isolated monasteries or super quiet temples meant strictly for solitary prayer. We picture monks totally retreating from the world. But Baba Farid's lodge, it completely flipped the script. It challenged that entire paradigm of what a spiritual space was actually supposed to do, and more importantly, who it was supposed to serve.
By definition, a Khanqah was a Sufi spiritual lodge, but in actual practice, it functioned as a bustling, incredibly vibrant community center. This wasn't some silent, disconnected retreat. It was a lively sanctuary where weary travelers, students, and the destitute all came together. And they weren't just there for spiritual guidance. They were there for absolute basic survival. We're talking food, shelter, education. It was a place fundamentally rooted in the gritty reality of human needs, proving that spiritual growth didn't just have to happen in a vacuum.
Moving right along to Section 2, the community kitchen concept. The beating heart of this community center, and honestly, the absolute key to its survival, was its daily operations. Let's see how this worked in practice. To truly wrap our heads around how this community functioned, we've got to ask, what was the Langar? Just think about the monumental daily task of sustaining hundreds of people in a pre-industrial world. I mean, this wasn't just some simple little kitchen out back. It was a highly complex, non-stop daily operation that quite literally kept the entire ecosystem alive. Basically, the Langar was a community kitchen where food was cooked daily and distributed completely for free. Just imagine the logistical lifeline this provided to the region. Fires had to be kept burning around the clock. Massive quantities of ingredients had to be continuously sourced, and meals were prepared without a single pause. The goal? To make sure that absolutely whoever arrived at those doors, no matter the hour or their personal circumstances, did not go hungry, period.
And if you look at who was actually welcomed there, you'll see a radical defiance of the era's social norms. We're talking Muslims, Hindus, Sikhs, wandering travelers, and the local poor, all sitting down together. Now, in a highly stratified medieval society, eating with someone of a different class, caste, or religion was often strictly forbidden. It was a huge taboo. But the Langar, it just stripped away all those labels. Everyone broke bread as absolute equals.
But to sustain this immense effort day in and day out, well, that required a lot more than just passing charity. It needed a rock-solid, philosophical foundation. So let's look at Section 3, service as true worship.
You really have to wonder what actually motivated this radical level of universal service. Running a massive, unrestricted welfare center took staggering resources, unwavering dedication, and frankly, a whole lot of exhausting physical labor. The answer to how they kept this going day after day lies in the spiritual engine that drove Baba Farid's entire worldview. That engine is known as khidmat, which translates to service to humanity. In Baba Farid's Sufi tradition, khidmat wasn't just a nice little good deed or a byproduct of having faith. No, it was considered an active, central pillar of worship itself. Serving people, particularly the most vulnerable folks in society, was seen as virtually indistinguishable from serving God. This represented a massive paradigm shift at the time. Traditional devotion, or zikr, relied heavily on inward-focused prayer, meditation, and remembrance. But Baba Farid's vision expanded this completely. He taught that personal inward devotion was actually incomplete unless it was directly paired with khidmat,
the outward active act of rolling up your sleeves and helping those in need.
Historical accounts of his philosophy capture this perfectly. They note that spirituality wasn't limited to personal devotion alone. Community service and humanity played a major role in it. In Baba Farid's eyes, you simply couldn't claim to be spiritually elevated if you were actively ignoring the hungry person standing right outside your door. To him, the two were just eternally linked.
Now, a philosophy this deeply practical and powerful, it was never going to remain confined to just one single lodge in the 13th century. It spread like wildfire. Let's explore Section 4, the legacy of Langar.
It's amazing, but we can actually trace a direct, unbroken lineage of this practice straight through the centuries. It all started in Baba Farid's era in Ajodhan, but was quickly carried forward by his successors. Mystics like the famed Nizamuddin Auliya established massive parallel kitchens in Delhi, and ultimately, this philosophy flowed straight into the modern era, becoming a foundational cornerstone of Sikh gurudwaras. The idea totally outlived its founders, effortlessly crossing geographical borders and religious boundaries.
And the best part? The core mandate remains entirely untouched today. Free food for everyone without discrimination. If you visit a Sikh Gurudwara right now, like the incredible Golden Temple in Amritsar, which by the way serves upwards of 100,000 free meals every single day, you are witnessing Baba Farid's ancient philosophy of radical inclusivity in active living practice. It's truly a sight to behold.
All of this leaves us with a pretty profound question to consider. If service truly is a form of worship, how does that change the way we view the vulnerable people in our own communities today? It's a centuries-old philosophy, but it clearly still has the remarkable power to challenge our modern world. Well, thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep questioning, keep learning, and I'll see you next time.